so I'm just going to alternate and maybe kind of see if we can match them on the other side. Yeah, it's not too
That's
bad.
cool.
Looks like I have to rub it a little closer when I get into some of those right next to the mask there. But this is, you know, we'll have scissors on hand. Of course, we'd have the kids draw this out in advance and spend some time thinking about it, but I think there's a lot of fun ways to do this. Rub right up into there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can't wait to get started on it. It's more fun
Looks
to do
like
than to
fun,
watch.
yeah.
It is. It's like, do. Yeah, it took me, gosh, probably a week to get my 7th grader to do this, and then by the time it's done, can I do another? Can I do another? One more? So it all worked out in the end. So again, I'm thinking about how Frank would do this, is he would play off, you know, again, what the colors are going to turn into. So maybe on the other half of this, we could do something completely different or alternate it. That was interesting. I didn't push hard enough, and there's a little bit. So some of this may come through on the next one. So I can see that. Oh, let's choose this side with some of these stripes here. Let's see. I'll rub extra to make sure that there's no adhesive left. Yeah, some of that bled into there just because I didn't get all the green in there. That's the thing, is again, you start to like figure this out after a couple of goes on it, and so that's kind of thinking of probably getting a little bit more supplies. So one of the things we want to do in advance is make sure the kids just write their names on the back, their classroom, and so I'm getting those little patches again. So I'm going to come by and use some of this extra bit and try to just come in and fill in some of those, make sure that there's no empty bits in there.
Are the classes doing the project together, like first grade, both of them, or is it separate?
We will alternate. So what we've been doing is setting up the classes to go back to back, and that's to try to help parents. So if, like, you know, if you get 3A and 3B, and maybe you only have 2 parents in one, or each, and then you can have 4 together, they can all work together to come in. But they will alternate by class. But we typically have been allocating an hour for each of those to be able to work through that together. In some cases, teachers may feel like they can bring it all together in one. It's totally up to you guys of how you want to do that. But right now, it's typically just a single class at a time. It didn't quite go, so I'm going to just come back and do it again. That's how I like it. There we go. There's more of a hard line on that. All right. Here. So yeah, so for the older kids, they can certainly, I think, experiment with doing, you know, this type of idea, and now we've got, you know, other things that we can do from there, where, you know, we can maybe think about this in a different angle, maybe play off what this could be. You know, and I would give them a couple strips of the same color so that they can continue some type of theme without having to get up and hunt for another color. You know, maybe this one goes a little bit more dramatic, where it's starting to not just be stripes, but more angles. Right? Yeah, so I have 2. There we go. So you can kind of start to see where this is going, that we could play off of the stripes in different ways, and do all sorts of things. So, I mean, we saw the triangles. We will have scissors. The foil is a little bit tricky to cut. And, you know, we had looked at, you know, trying to maybe cut some pre-shapes that kids could just like slap them down, have a circle and pull it away. But I did go and buy brand new shears to make sure that they were sharp enough to cut through these things. But yeah, overall, I think that this is probably, you know, to be able to just cut through this and mask it is one thing. One of the key things that we recommend is holding onto these papers, particularly for the younger ones, because after we're done, we're going to want to lay these as slip sheets and stack them into the cabinets themselves. But yeah, I think everyone should just kind of dive in. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of different colors. We've got buckets and buckets of things, and again, we'd love if you guys could maybe set up, you know, leave a couple dozen or a dozen or 2 behind of these, behind and that'll help to set up the classes for being able to do that in advance. Any questions so far?
I guess not on the project, but on the
Yeah.
classroom. So do we know how many parents are volunteering? And
Yeah.
then do we start with a PowerPoint for a few minutes and talk about Frank Stella, or, and then just kind of get out the material, kind of demonstrate it, and then like dive into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have all of these samples. We'll have a big bucket. Have everything that you need in there. We will have USB keys with the PowerPoint. We will have printouts, some of my 17 laminated ones that if PowerPoint's not your thing, or if you're working with younger ones, you can definitely just kind of talk through it, and we'll have some things written on the back for you just to give you some primers and things along those lines. But generally it's introducing the artist, introducing the concept of what minimalist art is, and minimalism, and just this idea of like, hey, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's kind of an interesting idea. From there, it's just really diving into the art and making sure that everyone has a kind of a foundation of where they want to go with it. But yeah, that's pretty much the general template of it all is presenting the artist in one way or another, whether it's projected. Sometimes we have videos. I actually have a video linked on the first slide, but it's a little bit older focused, and it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit long. You can check it out, see if you want to use that. We've used videos in the past, and sometimes the older kids, like, you know, or the YouTube generation, and this video is very YouTuber, you know, throwing in your face, explaining, you know, what Frank Stella was doing and what he wasn't doing, and how he was kind of a rebel at the time, and what that means. And so some interesting things, but again, craft your lesson to what you think your kids are going to be interested in, to the level that you can keep their focus around that. But don't feel like anything's hard and fast rule. It's really about presenting what makes sense to explain the concept and get them into creating some art that they're going to have some fun with.
And besides minimalism, did you have take-home vocabulary in mind?
No, I mean, I think there's other things we could talk about. Hard-edged was the kind of like was one of the first things that we were thinking about, just because. But you know, it's kind of so distinct. I think there's other things of, you know, we could talk about patterns and design and things, as those tend to be, you know, less representational. You know, really, you know, that's such a big word to come up with. You know, this represents something bigger. I mean, overall, I think this is, you know, and this is kind of a newer artist to myself. I mean, I studied art way back in the day, and there's so many types of art, like Muslim art, and even like Tibetan sand paintings, and all these types of things that are design-based, but have representation of a higher being, or like, you know, unity, or things that are coming together in a deeper way. And so for Stella and his cohorts to come in and be like, doesn't mean anything, you know, it's like, you know, kind of is disruptive to the entire institution of art, and like it's like, what, you know, it was really rebellious and very, you know, avant-garde at the time, and it turned into this whole kind of debate around an art versus an object, you know, which definitely gets into a little bit of a more senior level kind of discussion. But I think there's something to that, and I think it's an interesting kind of kernel, and I think we can introduce little elements of those along the way. But you know, if they got minimalism out of it, I think it's a home run. Anything else, even better. But yeah, really, we just want them to feel like they created something that they couldn't have done elsewise. You know, getting all of this set up for them with really fancy, shiny things.
Yeah.
This is definitely a shiny object
Yeah,
at the end of the day. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get you guys all set up with some of these to play with. Again, recommend trying at least 2. We've got all sorts of foil to work with. And you know, the hardest part about it is probably peeling the stickers. So yeah, once you get past that, it's easy sailing. So yeah, give it a go and let us know your thoughts on it. Again, materials, everything is going to be ready. I think by next week we've got everything purchased. We do have some handouts. We'll staple those, put those there. We'll have digital versions of that. And classes, initial classes are going to start, I think, the end of November, so we're about 4 or 5 weeks out. So you got time to read up on things, check out some videos, have some fun. You can, you know, do some tests if you want. But let's get that home.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And we got the lineup in the back.
Yes.
I think I'm not part of that pattern that need to destroy. It was so much fun.
So good.